Hello world and welcome to this video. So over the last month I have been making a new patch every single day. So sort of since the beginning of January, early January, I set myself a challenge instead of a New Year's resolution, and that was to try and create a new patch every single day from scratch, and then to record that, and I ended up uploading those videos each day to YouTube. That wasn't part of my plan originally, but it became the plan fairly quickly. So in today's video, I thought it would be interesting to just kind of go through, now that that challenge is complete, some of the thoughts and ideas and things that have come into my head over the last 30 days or so, about modular synth and about making music and about this channel. So before we do that though, of course, as ever, if you enjoy this video, then please hit the like button, and if you would like to see more of these videos, then please hit the subscribe button. Okay, so why did I do this challenge in the first place? Well, just before Christmas I put out a video. I did some music, and it had been a little while since I'd made any music, and I found it quite difficult. To come up with something that I was pleased with, and I think I'd kind of hit a bit of a creative slump because I'd not been making music for a little while, and I felt that I needed to sort of give myself a boost or a kickstart or something like that to try and get back into the zone, get back into the mood, whatever you want to call it, of making music again. And so I thought, what better way to do that than set myself a challenge of continually making a new piece of music every single day for 30 days. So this is something that I had done before. So during the sort of COVID lockdown time, I started, and that really, I guess, was the origins of this channel. But I started making videos. I set myself a 30-day challenge to make a improvisation video every single day with my guitar, and I managed to do that. And that really is kind of the origins of me getting into modular synth, because I discovered modular synth partway through that 30-day challenge, or towards the end of that 30-day challenge, and I was using it, or rather, well, it was VCV I was using as a way of making backing tracks, sort of ambient generative backing tracks that I could use to improvise to. So this idea of doing a sort of 30-day challenge was not necessarily new to me, but I will say that when I did it before, it definitely seemed a lot easier. I don't know why, but just sort of, picking the guitar up and putting a very simple backing track on, and then improvising. And I did put different backing tracks each day, and just picking the guitar up and improvising for a few minutes, filming that. I don't know, it probably took an hour at the most to sort of, put the backing track together, do the improvisation, film it, edit the video, upload it. So it was quite a quick and easy process. And I guess at that time, because of the nature of what was going on in the world, nobody was really that busy. I suppose we were all locked away in our homes, so I had the time to devote to it. And it gave me something to do as well. So I did that 30-day challenge in 2020, and that was fine, and that was kind of the inspiration for this 30-day challenge. I thought, well, I've done it before, I'll do it again. However, this time around, it was a lot more involved, because creating a patch from nothing every single day can be, it's a bit more tricky, a bit more time consuming than just simply picking a guitar up and improvising. So it was a little bit more difficult, and what I found was that I was started doing it of an evening. So once my daughter was soundly asleep, I would come in here and set up the synth and, well, not set it up because it's already set up, but, get everything out and start patching. And, it might take an hour or so to come up with something that I was happy with. I would then film a performance of that, put that together, upload it, and away. So most evenings throughout that time, I don't think I went to bed before 1:30 in the morning. So it was quite tough. It was quite tough doing that. And I didn't necessarily need to make the videos. That was a separate part to the challenge, I suppose. I could have just done them as live streams. But I don't know. There was something about it. I just wanted to sort of have those videos there as a record of doing the thing. And I guess it kind of felt that if I didn't do that, then it didn't really feel like the patch was done or complete for the day. So for 30 days straight, I don't think I went to bed before 1:30 in the morning. Obviously, I was still having to get up fairly early to go to work. So just that in itself, staying up late and then getting up early, that in itself was quite a challenge. And sort of after the first few days, I kind of thought to myself, I want to give up. Not necessarily give up, but I thought I'm not going to film these videos. I'm just going to make a patch a day, and I'll record it, but I'm not going to bother with the videos. And then maybe I'll put the videos up at a later date or something like that. Very quickly I sort of decided that I didn't want to carry on with it. But I didn't. I did sort of keep going. And then I think it was around sort of day 10 when I really was sort of struggling and really tired. And I just thought I can't do this. I'm just gonna knock it on the head. I'm not gonna carry on with this. It's too much to do. And there was part of me that was kind of really disappointed in myself, because I thought I would have sort of greater willpower than that. But as my wife kept telling me, you're not a young man anymore. Staying up late, it's not for you. So around sort of day 10, I really did want to sort of quit and give up. But I didn't. I sort of carried on for a couple more days, because I thought, let's just see if I can do a couple more days and just try and make sort of 2 weeks at least. Let's try and make 2 weeks. And then sort of something around sort of day, I don't know, 13 perhaps, 12, 13, something shifted in my mind, where I started to sort of really kind of get into a little bit of a groove with it, and it didn't seem like such a hardship anymore to have to get up early the next day and have to sort of stay up late and do the videos. And I started to feel kind of like more at peace with the whole process. And it sounds a little bit corny, a little bit cheesy, kind of hippie-fied, but I started to feel like I was getting a much kind of deeper connection with the music, and just sort of more at peace with the whole process, and it started to become a lot easier. And I think that's the point after that sort of first 10 days into that sort of tail end of the second week, when I started getting kind of like more sort of insights about the process, and I think ultimately really started to benefit from it. And it almost seems like I kind of had to go through that first phase of hardship where it was difficult and I wanted to give up pretty much straight away. I had to sort of pass through that, and I had a choice there. I could have given up, or I could have carried on, and I chose to carry on. And I think it's almost like I had to go through that difficulty to come out on the other side and start to sort of reap the benefits of I guess having more, more understanding about what I was doing, and the whole kind of creative process. So what were some of the things that I started to learn? Well, I mean, I made a list. I started writing things down, some of which might be kind of profound and only make sense in the middle of the night, and some of which might be, fairly obvious. So a few, I'll just touch on a few of those. Probably won't go through everything, but certain things that sort of became apparent. So one is that certain modules that I own have become kind of staples, and it's almost kind of pointless to unpatch them, because they would always just get repatched again straight away. And those would be modules such as I've mentioned before, a lot of the mutable instruments modules, marbles and clouds, rings, what else? Tides, beads, lots of mutable instruments modules, maths, not always being used for the same things, but always being used. And that was kind of interesting, because I think as I started, after the first few days and the inevitable sort of cliches came out, that was the point then when I started sort of trying to think about the modules differently and use those same modules but in different ways to what I've used them before. And I'd say that this whole process really has helped me to learn. I thought I knew my modules pretty well, and I thought I knew my case pretty well, but actually this intensive kind of 30-day process really has helped me to learn those modules much better than I did before. And a lot of the modes of modules that I don't necessarily use a lot of the time, I found myself using more. And to a certain extent, it's almost like I've found new modules. Even though they are the modules that I would always use, it's like they've become new modules again because I've found different ways of using them. In particular, clouds. So my version of clouds is Typhoon, which is kind of like, I don't know, it's clouds turned up to 11. It's got all of the original firmware, but then it's got the additional firmwares in there as well with additional modes. So there really is a lot to kind of explore with that module, and a lot of what I've done in the past is just in the sort of like the first, the standard kind of granular mode. But going through a lot of those different modes really was kind of interesting, and it's almost like that's become my new favorite module again, but not the modes that I used previously. So like for example, I think the looping delay mode, that became, if I look back through my notes, that's one of the modes that I use the most, which is really, really just kind of creates these amazing sort of pitch shifting swells of ambience, within a patch, which are just really interesting. Incidentally, I still don't really fully know how it works. The buttons, I don't know if any of you have this same Typhoon module, and if you do, you can let me know in the comments. The buttons, so on the far left and right of the module, there are two buttons, one on each side. One, which if you hold it, long press, whatever, and then press through, you can go through the different modes. But if you just press it, it seems to go through A, B, C, D. And I don't know if those are sort of saved presets. You can save a setting in there, and then on the other side it's labeled time and numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and that seems to be a similar thing. So some kind of like presets or bank or something. Don't really know what those buttons are meant to do. So if you know, please let me know in the comments. For the most part, I've just been scrolling through the different modes by holding what on mine is the right hand button labelled bank, A, B, C, D, but in the instruction manual it's labelled something else. So anyway, yeah, so that clouds module is kind of, has become what I think of is like way cooler than I thought it was, because of all these extra modes that I'd never used before. Something else which, kind of, again, which is all very obvious, but happy accidents are kind of like your bread and butter. The amount of times that I would start patching something, or be getting nowhere with a patch, and then just do something by mistake or do something accidentally, or patch a module in, and it just so happens that it was left in a particular state from a previous patch, and I put it all together, and what would come out would be amazing. And I think, well, that's brilliant. I don't need to do anything with this. Just patching it in, and it's already amazing. So sometimes it gets a bit difficult to see what you're doing with all the cables, and then you're patching something into a particular socket or whatever, and it's not what you think it is. But actually, it turns out to be quite interesting. So yeah, happy accidents are kind of like bread and butter, and the more happy accidents you can encounter, the more interesting and the better the music that you create. Which kind of leads to the next point, which is that there is no such thing as genius. Not that I would ever try to claim the label of genius for myself, but if we think of the word genius associating with somebody who has an extremely high level of intelligence, creativity, whatever, in relation to a particular situation. And there are times when people would or have listened to something that I've done and gone, oh my god, that's amazing, how did you do that, that sounds blah blah blah. I think, I didn't really, I don't know. Again, it was probably an accident, it was probably something that came out by mistake. And a lot of sort of these genius moments, they are sort of 50% yourself, 50% what happens with the modular. So I kind of like to think that there really is no genius, and obviously there are people out there who are we do think of as geniuses, but maybe we're all geniuses in our own little way. And I might do a video on that separately at some point, to sort of kind of explain that, or explain what I'm thinking there a little bit further. But yeah, so another thing that kind of came out was that usually I would just need one idea or one voice or something that works. And once you've got that one thing that works really well, the rest of the patch would just kind of come together by itself. It almost seems like you just need that one good idea to kind of hang everything off, and then the rest of the patch just sort of builds itself around that. Now, sometimes that one idea would come quite quickly. Sometimes it would take a long time. And that's where maybe sort of trying to fall back on tried and tested methods might help, or trying to use a module that you're very familiar with might help. Anything that will help you sort of get that initial idea, which then allows you to move forward. Sometimes that initial idea might be removed from the end result. You might take it out because what you come up with later on sounds better without it. But yeah, having sort of one idea kind of sorts everything else out, and once you get that one idea, the rest of it sort of falls into place. What else? So I'm looking over there because I've got a lot of notes over there of what I've taken, which are all in kind of like a random order, and I'm trying to sort of make sense of it and put it into order as I'm talking. So something else which I've got written down, it says over there, the importance of not fiddling. That sounds kind of dodgy, doesn't it? The importance of not fiddling. So kind of just letting things be for a little bit, letting things just sit, especially when it comes to the performance part. So trying to let the patch breathe for a little bit, not sort of tinkering too much, just allowing the sounds to kind of progress and evolve naturally. Especially if there's something in there that's kind of generative, and you need to let it go through. If you've got some long LFOs, you need to sort of let it go through some cycles a few times where things are sort of going in and out of phase and whatnot, to sort of allow what's in the patch to come out. And that was something which I think, to start off with, I would sort of spend too much time fiddling with things and turning things and adjusting things, whereas sometimes you just need to just let it sit for a bit and hear what comes out, just kind of like sit back and listen. Ultimately though, I guess a lot of what you end up doing when you are patching is basically problem solving. The entire process is more or less problem solving, and the problem that you're trying to solve is that you have some kind of intention or some kind of idea or sound that you want to create, and you've got a fixed number of tools with which to create that sound or idea or whatever it is, and those tools being the modules. And either you've only got so many oscillators or sound sources or LFOs or VCAs or whatever it is. You've only got so many of them, or it may be that you've already used the majority of them, but there's still something there that you're trying to pull out, and you don't have the options or the choices that you had at the beginning of the patch. And so you're trying to solve this problem. You're trying to think of a way of how you can get that sound or that idea that's in your head when you don't have an unlimited amount of modules. So we often think as modular being this kind of totally sort of free, creatively free form of music making that allows you to be so expressive, and of course it is, but actually it is also highly constrained, because there is a limitation on the number of modules that you have, the number of patch cables that you have, the types of modules that you have, and you can't unless all of a sudden you're going to go out and buy a whole new system, you can't change that. So it is in actual fact quite constrained, but that's not a bad thing, because constraint is very well documented as being something which can lead to high levels of creativity, because it kind of forces you to think differently and work differently with the tools that you have. I'll just have a little sip of my cup of tea. Yeah, let's go on to the next screen. So yeah, constraint is quite important, and it is there, and it forces you to kind of think differently when you're trying to solve these creative problems. So some of the patches that I did, they could, I could probably just like release them as tracks tomorrow. They were, I think the people that listened to them thought they were really good, and I really enjoyed them. I was really pleased with the outcome of them. And some of the patches probably were just a little bit too crazy, or I don't know, just random, a little bit too random. Some of the patches, maybe with a little bit more work, they might be turned into some kind of musical piece or something that could be released. There's a wide variety of different what's the word? I don't know. Different kind of levels of outcome or states of finishedness, maybe you might say, and that's kind of okay. That it was not my intention to create sort of 30 polished, finished pieces of music. To be honest, it was my intention really to sort of come up with 30 ideas that could eventually become finished pieces of music. So the fact that some of those patches actually could could become, I could just go out and release them tomorrow if I wanted to, was kind of like a little bit of a bonus. I think what happened sort of maybe after sort of day 20, things started to get a little bit more chaotic with the patches. Maybe that was just due to my fatigue at that point that was setting in, from all those late nights. But yeah, I think when you sort of look through, there's definitely a point where things start to become like way more chaotic, way more kind of random. Tuning, pitch, quantization, rhythm, whatever kind of goes out the window. But that's okay, because that's kind of like, it's another side of Modular that I like to explore. If you can hear that strange noise in the background, that is the dog currently trying to dig a hole in the carpet to probably, I don't know, find some sort of treasure or something that's buried, maybe an old bone that is buried under the carpet, who knows. There he goes again. He doesn't care that I'm making a video here, just digging holes in the carpet happily. The final few days of the thing, I almost didn't finish it, and it was because I got quite sick. I think it was the weekend before that last weekend. I don't know what that was, probably like day 27 or something like that, day 28. I got quite sick over the weekend, and I thought, this is it, I'm not going to be able to finish it. And I was really, really disappointed that I had got sick, but I thought, no, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna try and finish it. And I thought at one point, oh, maybe I could I'll just pause it, and then when I'm better, I'll do the final 3 days or whatever it was. But I thought, no, let's just try and do it. So I kind of sort of forced myself, and I'm really glad that I did that, because I really did have a sense of satisfaction upon completing the full 30 days, and I don't think I would have had that if I had paused it and then tried to do the last few videos at a later date. But yeah, and well, why did I get sick? Who knows? I mean, my daughter had been sick the week previous, so she had ultimately passed it on to me. Had I been trying to do too much, and all those late nights and the fatigue and the tiredness had sort of weakened my immune system a little bit, which allowed me to get sick? I don't know. We'll never know the answer to that, but anyway, it didn't stop me. I did still manage to sort of complete it, but it was kind of touch and go for a while. So the I guess maybe the final thing to say on this is dealing with naysayers, because this is YouTube after all, and there will always be people who don't like what you're doing or are not interested in what you're doing, and that's fine, that's okay. And the truth of the matter is, I don't care if somebody doesn't like what I'm doing. So during the course of that 30 days, I had quite a lot of new subscribers, which is great, brilliant. We love new subscribers, and I'm sure that people subscribed to the channel for all sorts of reasons, and maybe not just because of the 30 days. But I also had a lot of people unsubscribe during those 30 days. And that could be for multiple reasons. Maybe they just got a bit fed up of seeing my video pop up every single day in their feed. Maybe they subscribed on a day when I was doing ambient music, and then the next day I did something really noisy and harsh, and they thought, what the hell is this? Who knows? Maybe they subscribed on from watching a talking video, and then they didn't like the music, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. There were I think early on in the process there was a couple of people or one person that left some sort of not very nice comments. Again, it doesn't really matter. I don't care. I'm just kind of doing this anyway, so it's, if people like what I'm doing, well, that's brilliant. That's amazing. But if people don't like what I'm doing, well, it doesn't bother me. This channel is not for everybody. What I'm doing here is not. It's not always slick and polished. It's definitely not perfect. And if people have come to kind of see that sort of thing, or they've come to see some like cool person that is, I don't know, following the latest trends, whatever, that's not it. That's not what I'm doing, and it's not what I'm about really. So that's cool though. It really doesn't matter. I'm kind of, guess I'm more here for, I don't know, I'm here for people who want to make music no matter what it is, whether it's noisy or ambient or melodic. I'm more interested in sort of creativity and the creative process, and ultimately whatever comes out of that is great. And it doesn't matter if it's polished or slick or any of the rest of it, because I think we're all here, we can all appreciate what we're doing, and hopefully people, well, if you're this far in the video and you're still watching, then you can hopefully appreciate what I'm doing as well. And that's all good. And I guess I'm here to kind of support the people who want to make music no matter what, and will show up, and maybe they see something of themselves in this channel, whether that's past self or present self or future self, or they people just want to be part of some kind of community, which there is a growing community of modular synth enthusiasts. I think we take a bit of a beating at times from the rest of the electronic music world, perhaps. So we got to band together and make our sort of gnarly, crazy, beautiful, strange, imperfect music, no matter what. And we're all probably a little bit kind of weirdos, and that's cool too. We're all probably failed musicians in some other respect, and that's cool too. Actually, no, that's probably there's probably a lot of people out there that are not failed musicians. So, but yeah, I like to think that this channel is about people coming together who are willing to learn, but also willing to share what they are learning or what they have learned. And ultimately, it doesn't matter if people are going to knock the channel or knock the music or not into it. That's fine. They can carry on, they can move along, and YouTube's a big place. I'm sure they'll find what they're looking for elsewhere, and it doesn't bother me. So yeah, that's my thoughts on sort of dealing with naysayers over the course of this 30 days. So what next? One thing that's come out of this is that I've set myself a challenge of doing this for 30 days, and I've found that I've been so productive over these 30 days, and that's because I've had to do a video every single day, but that has kind of spilled out into other areas of my life and things that I'm doing, which I've kind of sort of, it's almost like that sort of productivity increase has dragged other things along with it as well. So I think, this is maybe an important thing, is that you kind of need to have something. You need to have something to do, and you need to have a kind of a deadline to do that thing. And if you've got that sort of deadline, and it needs to be not too far in the future, like maybe a month or a couple of months in the future, that means that you've got to sort of chip away at it every single day. And this 30-day project has provided that for me. So now I need something else to do, and I haven't quite figured out what that is yet. I've intentionally not done anything for the last few days. You might have noticed that I haven't put any videos out, or just put one video out since finishing that challenge, and that was simply because I needed a break from all those late nights. But yeah, so now I need to think of a new challenge, something new to do. I've got a few ideas, but of course, if you have ideas out there of what my next modular synth related challenge could be, then let me know in the comments. But yeah, so what am I going to do next though with all of this stuff? So I think I'm definitely going to release some of the tracks, some of the patches, some of the ones that kind of seem like they're pretty much sort of finished tracks already, or might need a re-record or something, or yeah, I'm going to release some of those tracks. So if there are any particular patches that you did really enjoy, and you might like to see released, let me know in the comments. I'll probably be just putting them on Spotify. I'll be putting them on my Bandcamp page as well. I don't know, if there's enough interest, I might do some kind of like physical release, but I probably won't. But they'll definitely be on Bandcamp, and they'll definitely be on Spotify. So yeah, if there are any particular patches that you did enjoy and you'd like to see released as a track, let me know. Some of them might need a little bit of working on first before releasing, but that's okay. What I will do though, I think, because at the moment there's 30 videos that are just titled day whatever, which is not very helpful if you're trying to find a particular video or you want to listen to a particular video. So I might go through and rename the videos to something that's a little bit more descriptive. And I think that that would be just good to do anyway. And this is all sort of, I guess this is kind of like tidying up after finishing the challenge, admin type stuff. As I say, I've taken a little bit of time off now, and I don't think I'm going to go back to releasing a video every single day, because it is a little bit too much for me at the moment. Sort of working a day job and then doing these videos at night time is kind of unsustainable. It was okay to do it for the 30 days, but not as an ongoing thing. But I still do want to be releasing music regularly, so I'm probably going to aim to try and do one video a week, which I'll probably do on a Friday night, or release it on a Friday night. And the process that I've been going through every single day with these 30-day videos, I'll spread across the course of a week. So sort of patching up one day, filming another day, or performing and filming another day, editing and uploading another day, and so on. So I still do want to keep making music there. I kind of came across a technique for creating sort of very slow ambient type videos, and that kind of was quite interesting. And that's kind of more based within the DAW, so still creating the music with the modular, but then sort of processing and editing and whatever within a DAW, which is quite interesting. So I'm gonna I've released one of these videos already, and that's on the channel at the moment. So I'm gonna try and do a few more of those, because it's quite interesting. I want to be careful not to sort of get too far into the territory of just sort of becoming one of those channels which just has loads of like ambient music for study or whatever things, because although the music's interesting, that's not necessarily my intention to sort of do that. But yeah, I do want to start trying some of these different things which uses the DAW a little bit more. And then Patreon. So I've started very slowly going through the Patreon and uploading all of my past videos. Still a lot to do, but I'm getting there. So I'm uploading all my past videos onto Patreon. So especially the music videos, so that you can watch them without ads on Patreon. Because there's nothing I find more annoying than watching a music video and an ad pops up in the middle of it and totally kind of destroys the vibe or what's going on. And even though, so this channel is not currently monetized, I haven't reached the point yet where I can be monetized. So the ads that appear in these videos, which I'm sure there are ads appearing in these videos, I'm not receiving any money from those. So it's as I say, there's nothing more annoying than watching a music video and an ad pops up in the middle of it. So I'm moving all that stuff over to Patreon, so you can watch those videos there if you want to. And you know, I think other than that, I still want to sort of keep doing these talking videos, and maybe sort of up these a little bit more. It's really about time and just trying to fit everything in, but I'd like to be doing more than one a week, maybe 2 a week. You know, and just kind of focusing on creativity and you know, modular education, I guess we might call it. You know, to try and sort of, I don't know, get around some of those people, some of those naysayers, some of those commenters that are, you know, that will inevitably always leave comments about, you know, how whatever synth is better than a modular, and modular is just for making stupid noises, and it's antiquated and expensive and it's a waste of time. And we know all that. That's true. It's true, but we love it and we're going to keep using it. So yeah, so to all the naysayers out there that think that modular is a waste of time, go away. It can be so much more than that. It can be fun, it can be creative, it can be exciting, it can be a wondrous thing and something to be part of. And that's you know, that's why I'm doing this channel. And yeah, I really kind of hope that this channel can be something of a safe haven, however small it may be, some, you know, tiny little corner of the internet that's dedicated to modular. And yeah, we'll battle against all those naysayers together. But I guess ultimately, just to kind of finish off, I kind of realised how fulfilling and enjoyable this little modular 30-day YouTube adventure has been. Or not has been, but is becoming. And you know, it's something that I want to do more of. I want to make more videos. I want to make more music. But I need help from you guys out there if I am to sort of up the game a little bit. So, you know, if you can share this channel with people, if there's people that you know that are into modular and you can share the channel with them, or if there's groups that you're in and you can share some of the videos. If you want to join the Patreon, that would be great. You know, you can join it as a free member, you can join it as a paid member. There are different benefits. I'm sort of trying to set up a Discord group there as well, which at the moment there's no one in that, so I might need some volunteers actually. If there's anybody out there that wants to kind of volunteer to test it out and make sure it's working, because I've never really set up a Discord thing before. So, but that will be one of the benefits of joining Patreon as a paid member, is access to the Discord group. I'm kind of slowly shifting my I don't know, I guess my income streams from what they currently are or have been, and I'm hoping that this kind of YouTube Patreon thing will become part of the new I don't know, the new way forward, or the new thing that I'm doing. But it is a lot of work, and you know, and I do enjoy it and all the rest of it, but I still have to kind of pay the bills as well. So, you know, if you are somebody out there that can support the channel monetarily by signing up to Patreon, then that would be very much appreciated. I know there's a lot of you out there that make content as well, and so you know how much time and effort it takes to putting these things together. But you know, I know that this is possible, and I've got lots of plans for this channel, and I know that it's possible, and we can sort of build something quite cool here. And really, I'd like you to think of it as your channel. It's not necessarily my channel, although I am the person who's making the videos. But ultimately, I want you to think of it as your channel, and it's your content, and the content can be whatever you want, really. Because without you guys watching the videos, there's kind of no point to it. So that being said, I would like to thank you all for tuning in, every single week, and especially over these last 30 days. I know some people have been watching every single video, and I know some people might only have just been able to tune in for a couple, but it's all appreciated, and it really does mean a lot to know that people are out there watching these videos. So thank you very much. So I think that brings me to the end of the video for today. I will just finish by saying the usual spiel, YouTube spiel. If you have liked the video, then please hit the like button. If you want to see more of these videos, hit the subscribe button. I know there's a lot of you out there that are not subscribed, so please do hit the subscribe button. It helps me loads. And yeah, if you want to support the channel further, there is Patreon, and you can buy me a coffee. The links are in the description. Other than that, I will see you next time. Happy patching. Come around here. Come on. Come on. Come here. Right, don't knock the camera, please. What you people can't see is that there's a huge dog in the room who is going to cause trouble. What do you want, baby? Are you in or out? I'm going to have to show you now. I'm going to have to show you the dog. Dog. What are you doing, dog? Causing trouble. Causing trouble. Come here. How to make videos with a dog. Anyway, let's put the camera back. You can be in the bloopers section. Come and sit here then. Come and sit by me. you can see a pair of ears poking up in this video, it's the dog. If you're wondering what I'm doing with my hand, it's this dog here. Are you going to let me make this video? Are you going to knock the camera over? Are you going to settle down?